live in a world where 95% of the things that we see are straight.
I wasn't given the language to even understand myself.
Like, this is who I am. This is who I'm becoming.
You know, you see so much hate out there right now. And that's how I started to think, if those doors are not there, I'm gonna have to build those doors for myself. My name is Enrique Sapene.
My name is Juliana Joel.
My name is Lianna Carrera.
My name is Victor Ramos.
I am originally from Caracas, Venezuela. My family were all involved in TV. I had been around it my whole life.
I was born and raised in Brooklyn. When people ask me, like, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from New York. They're already like, oh, here we go. These New Yorkers, all they talk about is New York this and New York that.
I mostly grew up between Puerto Rico and Florida in a Catholic Puerto Rican military family.
We weren't a military family, but we were like a military family because we moved so much. We would plant deaf churches like all around the South because my mother is deaf. So my dad was actually a minister for the deaf. It was a very eclectic childhood. I mean, I was like always in a dress that was ripped because of what a tomboy I was in these places.
In New York and Brooklyn, like, people don't think about being in entertainment and, you know, that kind of career. I didn't really ever know if it was realistic for me.
I started performing comedy shows in churches. That was like, I think, an evolution of mine in my early 20s, mid-20s.
My dream was to be part of the entertainment industry, and my dream was always to live in Los Angeles and work in film and television.
I studied music, I studied acting. So it's never really been a question. I always just knew. It's one of those things, when you have a passion, you can't deny it as much as you try. So I moved to LA, just been hitting the ground since.
I have such an appreciation for LA because you come here to make your dreams possible. So if you can make the jump, why not?
I think moving out here, I had gone through a whole period of hearing yes. Yes, 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 whatever I wanted to do, whatever program I wanted to get in. And you come to LA and you start hearing a whole lot of no's.
I wanted to be an actor, and I remember just going out on meetings for agencies and casting calls. And I remember even one that I'll never forget. They called back and they told them that I was too soft. I was too gay.
I was getting, no, you're too boyish. No, you're too, and I was like, wow, people just don't like see me.
And I remember feeling so bad about myself and thinking, what do I have to do? How am I not enough? I had a great childhood. I had friends. I never had problems of this kind. I had never been to a place where, like, all of a sudden it's like, well, you know what? You're not tall enough. You're not macho enough. You're too gay.
When it comes to my career, I can't wait for people to allow me into a space or to give me the green light. It's up to me to show up. If I don't show up, then it doesn't happen. You can't live a life where you're waiting for permission.
If those opportunities are not out there for people like me, then I'm gonna go make them. And that's exactly what I did.
So I had been living in LA for about a year when I moved to Hollywood, and I was approached by one of my neighbors who so happened to be a producer. She asked, what's your background? Would you be interested in hosting a television show? And I was like, sure. I had never thought about it, but I was like, why not? And this is where the magic started at 6101 Fountain, and the rest is history. So at the time, I was focusing mainly on my social media. I had moved here for beauty. So I never really thought I would get into traditional entertainment. And then when I got approached, I was like, why not take the chance? And now we're here 6 years later. It's something that I'm super passionate about.
Being on the show, it's done big things for me. I've been able to share space with some individuals who have made my career possible. The ones who really took the arrows for me to be able to do what I do now.
I mean, with the Q agenda in particular, that was the goal. The goal was that everybody would have a say. People that you don't normally speak to, or like points of view that you don't normally listen to. So you really have to open your mind to loving and getting to know somebody by who they are, and that the rest is packaging.
The first day was a little daunting. I had never met Juliana, I had never met Enrique, and it was a new experience, like I said. Came in, didn't have any expectations, but the chemistry was there. And then Lianna, she actually came in about a year later.
My manager called me up and was just like, I have an opportunity for you to be on the show called The Q Agenda. However many episodes, it wasn't many. It was just like maybe one day. And by the end of the first day, I was offered a permanent host position. I was honored to be a part of it, but I was also unsure if I wanted to be a part of it. I don't speak Spanish. I'm not very connected to my Latin side. I feel very whitewashed. So really being here has not been so much about me accepting or embracing my queerness. It has been about me and accepting my Latinidad, as they say.
I was always kind of the baby. When I first started off, I was 22. I was really fresh-faced, and now I'm grown. So, you know, being on the show and interviewing so many guests from different walks of life within our community has definitely, not necessarily changed, but evolved my relationship with myself. You kind of always think that you know everything. Like you think it's a kind of a monolith, and it's really not. So many people have different experiences.
I remember when I first started the Q Agenda, I thought to myself, oh, I got this. And then I realized how much I didn't know anything.
Even for myself, I've realized being on the show how important it is to speak and give your perspective. Like, even though we're not an overtly political show, we do brush up on a lot of things that are going on, a lot of current events. And I've always been someone that's kind of like, life is too short. Like, why should we be paying attention to that? And this show has changed my perspective.
You still have a lot of society that doesn't understand trans people, let alone knows a trans person personally. For us, what people see on TV about us is what people learn about us and how they decide they're going to treat us, which is why representation matters.
The biggest change has been since the show started that I now have a wife and kids, and that was only something I dreamed of when the show started. To see it come to life and fruition has been incredible. It's a feeling like a missing piece is there.
I've learned so much in the last 10 seasons of being part of this show, and it's made me a better brother, a better son, a better human being, a better businessman, a better everything.
As a host, you want to push some boundaries. Our show itself pushes boundaries by us just being here in front of a camera. A lot of people would have an issue with that alone, with queer, trans, lesbian, people of color especially, speaking their minds.
I know Lianna from at home and on our dates, and for the last how many years, I know her. And then just to see a whole other part of her at a table, interviewing people, something that I wouldn't normally have ever seen just in our everyday life. And it's just like, ooh, who's this person?
Once you really open yourself up to the opportunity of meeting somebody and really listening to them and understanding them, you find beauty in like the most awkward places. And I've learned that through my experience on this show.
Because what we say and what we put out into the world will have influence on others.
Us as a generation, we should be balanced. And that's what the show has brought me. And now I feel like I'm a more balanced and more informed individual.
I would like to see us broaden, our topics, our scope, what we talk about. I would love to see us reach more people in a broader way. I mean, right now we talk about gay issues, which I think is really important. I think it should still be the heart of the show, but I think there's room here to invite more people to the table in different ways.
I think right now we're in a really interesting time where we all want to figure out how to make the show better. We always want to make the show better. We always want it to be a more pleasurable experience for all the viewers and all the people who support.
I just want our show to also continue to show other queer people, especially young queer people, who are in small towns, who are in situations where they can't come out. I want our show to continue to show those people that it is all possible for them.
From the first episode to the 100th, we've seen more cameras, more sets, better sets, Everything continues to get bigger and bigger, and I'm really excited to see where that ends up.
We've come so far, and I'm so proud of where we are now, but we still have so much more to accomplish, and I think that we are gonna do all the things that we set out to do.
I am super excited to see what's next for the Q Agenda, because we are episode 100, and this is only the beginning.